Welcome back to BCB Live. We're the safest station in the nation. Drive safe, Dave. It never ends. You know what? Now we have another big name. Let me tell you something.
Here we go.
You want titles, you want big name guests. We continue to deliver. Now we have Lana Nichols, Vice President of Women in Trucking. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. You know what? It was. What are your thoughts? So you've been here 10 years. You've seen this baby grow. Last year, 800. This year, over 1,700. What were your thoughts when you walked in and you saw that crowd out there on Monday?
It's amazing. It's amazing. So I've been with Women in Trucking since we've started the conferences, and we were on the trajectory to really take off, and then COVID hit.
Right,
so then in 2020 we had to go virtual.
Yep.
And then in 2021, companies still weren't sure what their policy was going to be. They were like, I don't know if we can travel. So we had 800. 2019, I think we had 1,100. So we were kind of on that trajectory.
Yep.
And then, so Ellen threw the goal out, like, team, let's get 1,500 there. And then here we just blew it out of the water. And, surpassed that with 60. And then by the time we got here, 1,700. And so it is an overwhelming, like a blessed feeling, but it's also creates such an energy with all the people here. They're excited. Everyone's just empowered.
So let's go back to the 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You walked in the door 10 years ago. What you thought of the organization then, what your when you were there, and kind of lead us to what you were when you first got involved.
So I was actually involved with Women in Trucking as a member first. So they're 15 years old. And so I actually worked for truckstop.com. And so my boss served on the board and was chairwoman of Women in Trucking. And my mentor was also Ellen's mentor.
Wow.
Yeah. And so it came full circle, which, a lot of the trucking industry is like that. You meet people, network, you connect. That's what events like this are for. And really, that's how I got connected. That's how I met Ellen. And then I was starting a family, and I had a couple of babies really back to back. And so I was really looking for something that was slower paced. And with Women in Trucking, I could work from home. And I could work, different hours. And so anyway, Ellen's like, I need a powerhouse person to come alongside Shar and I. And it just all happened. And I've watched it grow and become, and we had, our association management firm come on and take on the conference. And that has really been a game changer for making a difference, really.
So we had the question earlier, and I don't know if it's different for you, but she told us when she saw the worm turn, when she saw it really change. When was that moment for you? When was the moment you realized, hey, we're headed in the right direction with the right, when you thought it was really the kickoff moment?
I think there's several of those nuggets along the way. There's several of those aha moments where you're like, this is big, and it's like walking in a room like this. You feel that?
Absolutely.
In 2018, Aero Truck Sales partnered with Women in Trucking to give a truck away.
I saw that.
That's a big thing. And that's a big moment in someone's life to change their life. Is like giving them a truck and then they become an owner operator. And like, those are impactful moments. And so when you can connect because I work from home, right? So I'm like in my own home office, but when you can like see that impact firsthand, it's like being in person here. Those are the moments for me where I'm like, yes, like this is making a difference.
Do you still talk to the person that got the truck?
Yes. In fact, so we're giving a truck away again
I know
at
that. We know.
And so that was the last one in 2018. So 5 years later, we're doing it again. And so I've connected with her again, and she's been on our radio show to help promote that and talking about her
that's
journey
great. I like that.
and all that. So absolutely. And so that's another aha moment of like, this is really big is our Whitney trailer that we have. I don't know if you've been through Whitney, and that's like just to be able to have that and to be able to go to events, and that's big for us too. And we'd like to have several more of them.
Yeah, no doubt. That's and if you're here at the Women in Trucking, it's in the back. Go take a look at it. It's the Whitney trailer.
It's where the crowd is.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
It's where the crowd of people is all the time.
In fact, it's connected to the Aero truck that we're going to be giving away.
I already looked it over, and I already looked it over.
Kick the tires.
Yeah. I kicked the tires, checked it out.
Hey, Michelin's donating all new tires too, so we're gonna have a fresh set on by Matt.
I didn't see the new rubber.
Yeah, well, they're gonna be put on.
So lots of programs here at Women in Trucking, right? That you all put out, you get behind. One of them is that it's the Mentor Match program.
Yeah, and that's a member benefit. So if you're a member of Women in Trucking and you're looking for a mentor or like mentees is for anyone, and so really you can be a mentor in one category of your life and a mentee in another. So it has all of that available to select on our Engage platform, which is our community for members. And so it doesn't cost anything extra. If you're a member, that's just a benefit of connecting our community.
I don't know if you've seen on the website there, but you can go in there and you can ask a question, and it's amazing to see the help that they will get. Somebody will come, they'll ask a question about deadhead. It could be an owner-operator. Maybe it's a first-time owner-operator asking a question, hey, what's the bet? How do I get out of this area? People will jump in and help. Are those the kind of mentors that you're talking about? Somebody that's new to the industry, to find somebody to help them along, to show them what the best freight is, maybe what the best lanes are, who to avoid, those kinds of things?
Absolutely. And it's across the gamut. It is for drivers, but it's also for anyone, any position in the industry. Or you can connect with, a driver could connect with a dispatcher or senior management. I mean, there are no restrictions. You can, if you're looking, you just kind of request, you get to know someone, you see their profile, and you can request and say, I'm looking for guidance in this area of my career or even in my personal life, and you can connect.
When you talk about that, and you talk about the mentor, it's funny you mentioned that just a second ago, that my mentor was the same as Ellen's mentor. So obviously, it means something to you. What does, now you've been a mentor, right? Mm-hmm. And been a mentee. Mm-hmm. What do you get from it personally when you started and when you became, and you know what I'm saying, that connection?
I think that mentorship is so important to grow. A good mentor is going to stretch you, is going to give you constructive feedback. It's not always a pat on the back. It's not always, oh, you're doing just so great, you're going to be wonderful.
What are you doing?
But a good mentor is someone who's going to stretch you beyond your limits to get you to grow. And if you're doing it right as a mentor, you're learning something from your mentee as well.
Absolutely. Sure.
And you don't have to it doesn't have to be female to female mentorship. I mean, my mentor I mentioned was male. We were in a driver panel yesterday, and in fact, they talked about mentorship too, two different panels, but they really keyed on that is like when this driver wanted to become a driver, she was working at a truck stop, and they're like, how do you get women to get in the industry? She's like, it was not other females telling me you can do this. It was male drivers. Male drivers encouraged me to do this. And a lot of women drivers will tell you their mentors are men, so there's no restriction of like, there are women in trucking and, it has to be a female to female. So, it takes us all to lift each other up. And that's why we have men as members too.
For certain. And if you're watching this and wondering, are you that mentor type? Let me tell you, those of you that have gone through the struggles, and that's the important part of being a mentor, is you've gone through the struggles. You can relate to that person that's asking for help, that's looking for that mentor. You've been there. And you can talk to them about those mistakes before they make them, because what we don't want is them to make the same mistakes that we made. We've all been there. We've done it. It's important to let other people know, to open up to them and say, hey, you know what? I've been there. You are struggling. I know you are, but we can get out of this.
I think one of the other things too is that when you talk about a mentorship, when the person, it creates vulnerability between the two. You come and you share and you develop a relationship in which you can develop trust, and that you can come and say, you know what, this isn't working for me, and I don't know why. I'm trying, I'm struggling, and it's okay to be honest with not only yourself but with somebody else at the time, right? I mean, that's truly what you're getting from it.
Absolutely, and you nailed it with the struggles you've gone through. That's what makes a good mentor, is to say, this is where I've messed up, or this is the mistakes I made, or these are pitfalls to avoid. that's where you grow and you learn, and then you can share that, you can give back to someone else who's coming up behind you and paving the way. And that's what Trailblazers, that's what Accelerate is all about.
And don't be afraid to ask for help too, right? Because you've got, and Dave, you said vulnerable, right? I mean, make yourself vulnerable. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. It's okay. Dave, when we opened up the business, I wish we'd have had somebody. I'm telling you, I love the mentor because we didn't have anybody to talk. It seemed like everybody we knew was already successful, and they didn't go through the learning curves of being a brand new driver, being a brand new owner. They weren't there. They were like second, third, fourth generation. They didn't understand all this. We've got to learn to share these things amongst us. And Women in Trucking, what you're doing through this program, that's what it's about. Opening it up allows you to open up as a mentor. And I didn't even know that mentee was a word. That's kind of cool. I learned a new word today.
There you go.
I thought it was just a big fish.
Manatee.
Yeah.
The same thing I thought.
That was my joke. You can use it if you want.
Okay, I might.
Oh, man.
Where do you see, and you look around, and I know we talked earlier, we talked about 3,000. Where do you see, what trajectory are we headed to now in Women in Trucking? What trajectory, really, and be honest, where you think it will be in 5 years?
5 years. As a board, we're really looking at that as a strategic plan for, as a whole, what is our aspirational goal for the next 5 years, for the next 10 years? And really hearing all of their feedback is interesting, and we've put them into, different categories. But personally, I see more international. Ellen mentioned that we're in 10 countries. I really think building that out, really making a presence in those countries and making Women in Trucking international. But yeah, as far as numbers, membership continues to grow. But our WIT index is where we track and have a pulse on how many women are in the industry at different levels of the industry. And I really want those numbers to increase tremendously over the next 5 to 10 years. And that's really going to help us understand the difference that we're making and the impact as well.
I think this is a great way in which we get a real look at who ourselves are and what we're doing about making a difference in the industry. Because the one thing that I gathered here, and I've been doing this a while, I've been in the industry a long time, but there is passion here with every single person that's walking through the room. They genuinely want this industry to be better in so many ways. I've seen smiles and joy and conversations, and everybody here, I know they've got their way in which they're doing it, but honestly, I'll tell you what, the positivity's been unbelievable here. Yeah. And I attribute that to you guys.
Yes, I agree. And Lana, I want you to touch base on this, because I'm going to go right with what you're saying, Dave, on this. Is because as we've gone and seen and talked to people, it's the first time that I've seen a group of people willing to collaborate with one another, right? And work together towards making our industry better. What have you seen when it comes to that collaboration? Give me some thoughts on that.
So much. Within the association, we have task forces that meet, they want to solve problems, right? Women just, you see a problem, they want to fix it. We've got panels, we've got, sounding boards. People want to talk with drivers, tell us, how can we make our trucks more accommodating to smaller frames? What's the problem? Let's fix it. And they're so willing to collaborate, to discuss best practices, to share what's worked for me, what's working for you. But yeah, this is a great group of people to do that with.
I can't wait till you're in every university out there making sure that this is the place that they want to be, right? You're out there funneling them in here, funneling the talent and the smarts and the leaders of tomorrow in here. I think that's a fantastic way. I appreciate you coming in today. Fantastic stuff.
Hold on, we're not letting her get out of here. We're going to do that.
Oh, okay,
go. We're doing that right there. So you're going to have to say your name. You're with Women in Trucking, and you're watching BCB Live, the safest station.
Can I read it off of there?
Absolutely. You can do everything you want to do.
Okay. My name is Lana Nichols, and I am with Women in Trucking Association, and you're watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
There you go.
All right. Thank you so much, Lana.